everyone, it's me Holly. Welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be doing some pros and cons of being a commuting uni student, so that anyone who is thinking of commuting to uni and doesn't really know whether that's going to be the best decision for them, hopefully this video kind of summarizes my favorite things about it and also the things that I kind of regret about it, because I feel like it's really important to make informed decisions. A lot of people move away. That's like the most common things, people want to move away. I'm going to start by explaining why I didn't, and then I'll basically do my pros and cons. So yeah, let's just get into the video. By the way, my skin is literally stinging like crazy because I started some acne like 3-month treatment thing. It's stinging like hell. But we're just gonna move and hope for the best. Anyway, okay, so the reason why I am a commuting student is purely because I could not imagine moving away, and I literally did get a place at Reading University. I was on this like master's course, which I would have done my 3 years undergraduate, and then I would have guaranteed a space on a master's program for the 4th year, which is great, which is quite ideal. It's quite a good thing, and it had a really good like work experience thing. Like, it was perfect. I literally did an interview for it, but then I got the accommodation for Reading, and I just remembered that night after getting it, I just had invasive thoughts of like, oh my god, like, you haven't considered this, you haven't considered this, you haven't considered this. And I just kept saying to myself, like, this is what everyone does, they move away. Can we just get over this silly overthinking and just get past that? And I just could not get past it for literally a week. I couldn't convince myself that that's what I wanted to do, even though I'd been able to convince myself for like months. I could no longer convince myself. So then I had to sit with these thoughts and be like, okay. And I realized that it's like, I am, at the time I wasn't very independent. I am very family orientated. I have a fear of missing out, and when I thought about all the things with my family that I wouldn't really, obviously I could come back, but like also like just the fact that I'd have to travel back and forth on my own. Like, I know that's really silly, but I really was not an independent person at the time, and it just seemed like a lot of things, which I shouldn't really have said this to myself, but a lot of things that I was like, I don't know how I could do those things without feeling anxious every single time. And I strive to reduce my anxiety. So yeah, it would have been great for my personal growth, but then I settled with going to look at my current uni's open day, because it was already my second choice. So I thought I'll have a look at what the psychology labs are like, and then see if I'm going to change what my firm choice is, because I'd already firmed it. I'd already put Reading as my number one. And also another thing is, at the time, I'm better now, but I can't even deal with like living with people, like with my family that I've lived with my whole life sometimes, when it comes to like cleanliness. I was going through a bit of a time where I was like, I can't cope with anything. So that's ultimately, it was just my mental health. And I was just like, can't do that. Let's just go the easy option. Which I'm not going to promote taking the easy option. I will always promote doing something out of your comfort zone. But if it ends up making you feel violently ill thinking about moving away, maybe see whether you want to stay at home. Yeah, let's go on to my pros and cons so we can stop talking about me, because I feel like I do that too much. A pro that I found, I applied for student finance, so the maintenance loan, but just because I didn't know how much uni would cost in the first year. I didn't know what like I needed to pay for. I thought textbooks and stuff like that, I thought I'd have to pay for so much. Turns out there's a lot of ebooks, so that's kind of good. So I've got a lot of money like left over from my maintenance loan, which I'm able to separate out over my I'm doing a 4-year course, so I'm able to just have the maintenance loan for 1 year instead of getting it each year, which I know can like rack up the amount of money you need to pay back. So yeah, and also you're not paying for accommodation, which is very expensive from what I've heard. And I'm not having to have that stress because money's already like, I have such like an issue with spending money, but I also want to do it too much. Like the amount of shows I want to go see, and I'm like, can I can I weigh this up? So yeah, definitely one pro is that it's a lot cheaper. Like my uni does a deal with the buses, so my bus pass was like 270 something pound, £277 I think, which compared to what I got in my maintenance loan was nothing. Like, and it's such a good deal because I know school kids have like a bus pass that's cost like £600, which is wild. I don't even know why that's a thing. But anyway, so yeah, a big pro is money, obviously, especially in this current climate where uni is trying to take so much money. Like, anyway, one con, and this is a big one for me, and there's been many times I've really been like kind of disappointed with this aspect, and it's that you're not particularly integrated into the uni lifestyle unless you force your way in. But like for me personally, I made friends, which was good. Like obviously I was commuting in, but I still went to a lot of the welcome days because my commute's only 40 minutes, so it's kind of like I was able to get there and like partake in the welcome week events where I made a lot of friends. It's crazy how like I'm someone who doesn't speak to people, but I was able to kind of like go into this mindset where it's like, if you don't make friends, you're not gonna like enjoy this, so just try and talk to at least one person. It was yeah, if you want me to do a separate video on uni advice, I can do that. But anyway, but I did make friends, but obviously because you're not on campus and you know that you have to travel home, you're not really like sticking around and like doing all the different fun things that probably if you're on campus you would do that because you've got a lot of time to spare. I know there were so many weeks where I didn't have a lecture on a particular day, so I could just chill at home, which was a pro. But like not like actively seeking fun things to do because you know that your bus is in 10 minutes, so you gotta run out that lecture and get the bus. So yeah, you're not particularly in the uni lifestyle. I know I probably could have been a little bit more if I was the type of person that wanted to like kind of go for that and like get involved with stuff. Again, like with societies, I did look into doing a couple, but I was like, I'm gonna have to commute up there at this time, and I'm like, I'm unsure whether I really want to do that. Which obviously if I was on campus, I would have gone to it to make friends and like do something with my day, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's a big one that I've had to kind of be like, oh, it would be really fun to just for a week maybe live in one of these uni accommodations, because trust me, I don't think I would have been able to do longer than a week. But like just thinking, oh, it would be fun if I could like wake up and just go on a walk around the uni campus. Like that's the type of thing I used to watch on YouTube. As a year 8, I was already watching uni lifestyle videos, and there were some days I'm just like, oh, I wish I kind of got a proper experience of it, because it is such a big thing. Like, and I know not everyone goes to uni, but I feel like it is a huge thing that people don't really talk about not going to uni and living on campus. Another pro would be that the commutes are very useful for either doing some of the uni readings. So I know there was a couple times on the bus, because my bus is 40 minutes, you can't really get your laptop out or anything, but I guess if you're going on the train you could, so that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, so on the bus obviously I've got my phone. I would, if I knew I had an essay due one week, I basically spent the whole 40-minute journey just reading sources that I was gonna, when I got home, put into my essay, and it kind of just like gave me something to do on the bus. So like if I was at home, I don't know if I would have had the motivation to look for all of that, but it kind of, because I was on the bus, like I didn't really have anything else to do. But also reading in general, I got into reading so much just because I was sat on the bus and I wanted something to do, and a lot of the time my phone does give me a tiny bit of a headache, so reading was actually a lot better, which I know some people say reading gives them a headache, but like I found it was okay. Yeah, I read quite a few books just because I was on the bus and didn't really have anything else to do. And listening to music, oh my god, I just love a journey. I at first was really nervous about going on a bus pretty much every single day, because I don't know, things stress me out. But after like a couple weeks and I got used to the routine of it, you know, using my bus pass, like just the whole thing, when I got used to it, knowing like kind of how the bus environment worked, which sounds really weird to say, but I kind of work in a way where I need to do things multiple times until I feel comfortable. Once I got used to that, I loved the bus journey, just to listen to music, look out the window. I love a journey. I love, yeah, being a passenger. So yeah, it's kind of like therapeutic to kind of finish a lecture and just be able to sit on the bus and go home. It's great. Okay, a con is that the uni timetable does not seem to be set up for a commuter. They don't consider that. And obviously, like, these unis busy could not care less. But definitely not with commuting people in mind. When they are creating a timetable. For example, there was one week I had 3 9 a.m.s and the bus I would have to get was at 7:01. So to get me there on time. So 7:01 meant I had to wake up at like 6:30 if I could get ready that quick. 3 days in a row. Yeah, I'm not a morning person, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, so not really created in that way. And also, there were some days when there would be a lecture in the morning, then one like, for example, 9 a.m. and then one at like 2. So like, you would really have to be like, I'm gonna have to just spend my day in the library, or like, I don't know. I did find when I was in my first term and I had a big gap between my lectures, I did quite like, you know, going to the library and just being on my own, which sounds kind of, I don't know, but like, I feel like it's not spoken enough that actually just spending time on your own is kind of fun sometimes. Like, I feel like a lot of people who would hear me say that and think, oh, that's like, it's kind of sad, but like, no, like, I just prefer it sometimes. Just the simplicity of knowing that I'm like, I don't need to rely on anyone else, or like, I don't need to kind of ask anyone else, do you want to do this, do you want to do, because I know that I want to do something, so I just do it. So yeah, I think my con turned into a pro then, but like, yeah, that is one con, is that the timetable is not set up that way. One pro, it could also be a con depending on how you look at it, but one pro is that, I've said pro so many times I can't say it again. One pro is that whenever I have a day not doing something, so for example in my second term I never had anything on a Wednesday, so that was just a clear full day. I could wake up whenever I wanted and just be at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as someone who loves my bedroom, perfect. I know there's going to be some people watching this and they're like, oh, I want to move out, do you know what I'm saying? And like, they would love to have their own area and stuff, but like, for me, there's nothing better than just being in my room and just being in my house. So like, just having a day off and being at home, like, I love it. Incredible. A con is that a lot of your friends are going to be moving away, so you're going to be at home where everyone is, but no one's gonna be here. Like, luckily for me, my friend Amy is going to uni. Well, it's actually not lucky anymore because she is going to uni in September, but she had a year internship, so she was at home, so that was great. But yeah, a lot of my other friends obviously moved to uni, but again, whenever they're back, this can turn into a pro. Whenever they're back, you're here ready and waiting, like, and you're not having to like, and even if I had uni one day and they were here, depending on the timetable, like, I would still be able to come back and then do something with them, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I guess it's kind of a con because you're at the place where everyone used to be, but no one's here anymore. But another thing is, maybe this is a con, is that maybe uni and like living on your own, doing that, building that independence is good for you. Well, not maybe, it definitely is. It's definitely good for personal growth and just learning how the world works, which obviously I'm still at home. So I'm probably not as independent as I really should be, I guess. But yeah, I guess if you move out and go to uni, like you're gonna be learning that like relying on friends a lot for your support, and just developing how to like do things on your own. I'm gonna continue this if I remember anything else that I have forgotten. Hi everyone, it's Editing Holly. Currently mid Roblox gameplay and I was editing this on my phone. But I've got one more thing, maybe a couple of things to add, but one main thing that I forgot to mention is quite like a important one, is that if you are a commuting student, especially people who take public transport, that is like a barrier between home and getting like being in the lecture, if that makes sense. So like obviously if you are kind of having a day where you're like, oh, like I don't really know if I want to go in. If I was on campus, I could be like, well, to be fair, it's only like a 5-minute walk to the lecture hall, so I could probably just do that. But if you've got the kind of barrier of, oh, I'm gonna have to sit on public transport for like 40 minutes, a lot of times I found myself thinking, I don't really want to do the bus today, or like I don't really want to have to like deal with that, because it's like a lot more time out of my day compared to like an hour lecture. I'd be on the bus 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back, so that adds more time onto my day. So if I really think about it, I'm like, I'm putting more time and effort into going. So it's a lot easier to make yourself not go in. So attendance, I mean, my attendance is actually good, which is, oh, that's good. But there was a couple times when I just didn't go in because I was like, I don't really, it's not ideal. Especially some of the 9 a.m.s when I'm like, I'm going to have to get up at like 6 a.m. I don't want to do that. So yeah, that is one of the things that would be a con. But yeah, overall, I guess it's just down to personal preference and how you can imagine yourself being. Because for me, like, obviously I sometimes feel a bit sad, like, oh, I'm missing out on this uni lifestyle. Like, it's such a significant thing, especially when your friends are like doing so much fun things with their uni housemates, and you know, you see a lot of people doing a lot of things. Yeah, if you have thoughts like, I feel like I'm gonna miss out or anything, kind of just maybe do another thing like this, do a pros and cons of, you know, what you want to experience versus how you're feeling. So if you're feeling a bit anxious about it and stuff, see whether you can work through that anxiety, whether you can find things that will help you with that, and just write things down to kind of help you sum it up, what would be the best option for you. For me personally, I think I've had more times when I'm grateful that I've been at home, than I've had times where I've regretted my decision. So I don't think, even if I sometimes think to myself, oh, I wish I did have that experience, I wouldn't want to actually be away. I just kind of wish like, oh, that would be fun to experience for like a day or two. Thank you guys for watching this video. I also was talking a lot in this video about making the decision between commuting and moving away, but also people might be watching this who know for certain that they want to commute, and I will say it's very important to go into the first year knowing, you know, you might miss out on things, and just have a realistic idea of what will happen. But personally, like, I'm so happy I've commuted. It's probably one of the best decisions I made, just because I definitely wouldn't have been ready to move out. And I know it's such a big thing, like it's the main thing that people talk about is they're going to move out, and it's like that lifestyle, all you see for the first term is people talking about their accommodation and loads of videos on TikTok, and it is a little bit like, damn, I'm not experiencing that. But as long as you know that that's going to happen. You know, information is power in a way, so like your brain's going to be ready for that now. And yeah, if anyone has any questions about anything, whether to move out, commute, whatever, let me know in the comments. I will answer them. Obviously, it is a big decision. It's probably one of the biggest life changes going to uni, whether you're commuting or not. So yeah, definitely make sure you've got the information you need. Go to all your open days. I feel like they would have been done by now because you're going to have your A level soon. So you've probably already firmed a choice. Sorry, I'm playing Roblox and like the noises in the background. Probably already firmed a choice, but also, yeah, it's never too late to change your mind. Don't feel trapped into anything ever. I just phoned up UCAS and changed mine pretty quickly after I'd already submitted it. I think it was within the 14 days, so that was okay. But yeah, I've heard very good stories about people who have moved out. I've also experienced having a great first year being a commuting student, so either way, you're probably going to have a good experience, and there's always options, and you can always, like, life is not fixed. You can always find different pathways if that's not for you. Don't ever feel trapped into doing anything. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.